Thank you guys for, again, taking time to come and listen to what I have to say. I hope whoever is watching this takes it for what it is and hears me and understands what my true motives are. I'll introduce myself again. My name is Heidi. Almost 4 years ago, I came home at 10:30 at night and found my husband and the father of our 4 children deceased in our garage. When I got home that night, something wasn't right. The doors were locked, which they normally weren't. He was normally awake. And it was eerily quiet in the house. I immediately went back to the bedroom, assuming he was asleep. And in place of where he should have been was a suicide note that he had written. I remember skimming the note quickly and thinking this was some really sick prank. Like, who would do that? But that's where your mind goes. And I remember quietly, but shouting it nonetheless, saying, "Jesse, this isn't funny. Where are you at?" And there was no response. I couldn't be loud because I'm right in the hallway and I knew the 4 kids were all asleep. And I walked down the hallway and said his name again and said, "It's not funny, knock it off, where are you at?" And quickly realized that, I've described it as the worst game of hide and seek I've ever had to play. I didn't know where he was at. I didn't know what I was going to find. I remember thinking he must have left, but then I thought, okay, no, his car's in the driveway. And I walked into our kitchen and I could see the light on in the garage. Like the light was shining under the door a little bit in the seam. And I opened the door and there he sat. It was a single car garage and he was clear on the other side, sitting down. I could see he had on it was like a 3/4 length sweatshirt, and I could see his forearms, and I knew the discoloration I was seeing was lividity. I knew immediately, without even stepping foot in the garage, that he was gone. I went up to him and touched him and begged him to wake up, and he didn't wake up. Obviously, I had called 911 and I asked what he had done, and I didn't even know what he did. I could tell he didn't shoot himself. I could tell he didn't hang himself, but he sat in the garage with this plastic bag duct taped around his head, and honestly, I had no idea what in the hell I was looking at. All I knew is my emotions would go up here, and then they'd go down here, and I'd keep reminding myself, you gotta be quiet, you got the kids, what are you gonna, oh my God, what if the kids wake up and come out here and see him like this? It took 13 minutes for law enforcement and medics to arrive. 13 minutes I sat there with him, begging and pleading him to wake up, and he wouldn't wake up. When I grabbed his arm, they kept asking me to check for a pulse, and I couldn't get to his neck because he had duct tape all around his neck, and I picked his arm up, and his hand was like this. When I picked his arm up, his fingers like moved, and my head was telling me, oh no, he's moving. It was the end of October, it was raining, it was cold, so when I touched him, to me, he felt warm, but I knew he was gone. And when I ripped the plastic bag off of the front of his face and I saw how white his face was and his lips pursed out and his chin just resting on his chest, until you are actually in that or similar situation, There's no way I can accurately describe and make you understand what it felt like. And I don't want you to, because if you do, again, if you do know what it feels like, that means you've been there. To this day, I can't put a trash bag in my trash can without thinking that, you know, the motion of opening that trash bag is one of the last things he did. The immediate aftermath was horrifying. Within 12 hours of finding him, I'd already been asked, what did I do to cause him to do this? Because he loved his kids and he would never have just done this. So obviously I had to have done something to push him over the edge, so to speak. He loved his kids. He wouldn't have just killed himself. Law enforcement never viewed me as a suspect. It was very clear what he had done. It's just the public, it's the family, it's all of the people who don't understand that put us through hell. And we wonder why society's the way it is. Because we victim shame. And we point fingers at the wrong people all the time. We have no accountability for our actions nowadays. None. None whatsoever. We're allowed to say what we want, do what we want, be who we want, claim to be who we want, and there's no repercussions for it whatsoever. Our words don't matter. They can't hurt unless you're, I don't know. I don't know how some people get to claim they're hurt and it matters, and some people they can't. I know I'm rambling. But I just don't understand. So I needed to make something of Jesse's death. And my choice was, once I found the organization Ourbluehell, I knew the only thing I could do to help prevent suicide is to expose what my family went through, and that was in the form of my 911 call. It's horrifying to listen to. I'm inoculated to it. I've heard it so many times that it does, but it doesn't bother me. I've exposed myself, so I know what's in it, and it's made me stronger, because every time I hear it, I remind myself, I'm okay. That can't hurt me. That day's gone. But what hurts is the secondary trauma and the third, I don't even know if that's a word, whatever. The additional victimization and manipulation and the using, the exploiting, that's the word I'm looking for, the exploitation that families feel, in addition to the initial loss, the backs being turned by the families, by the in-laws, so to speak, the police and sheriff's department, state patrol, whatever the agency is. And then once you go and you find someone who's willing to help you, like Karen Solomon said she was willing to help me, and that she understood me, she was there for me. When it becomes very apparent that those are just empty promises and words used to get your story, gain your trust, and further her agenda, it hurts. I shared a video a week or two ago talking about what my issues are with Ourbluehell. I stepped down over 2 years ago from this organization. I let it go. I let my trauma from Karen go. She couldn't hurt me anymore. She made endless promises to me and never followed through with a damn one of them. But she used my story when she needed to, and boy, did it help her get her feet on the ground. I've been accused of having a personal vendetta right now, and that I'm bitter. I am a little bitter towards Karen and towards every single member on this board, because you guys all know what she's done. And you do nothing about it. This is why victims don't come forward and speak. This is why we have child abuse victims, rape victims, and domestic assault victims. These are why these individuals don't come forward and speak, because of the backlash they will receive, even from like-minded people who have gone through something very similar, and they'll still bash them. Oh, he was a good person. Why would you say that? He went to the... They just attack. People have to attack instead of just slowing down, hearing what the accuser is saying, and you need to look, as my kids say, big brain time. You need to look at the big picture. What do I have to gain by making accusations about Karen Solomon? I want not that organization. I want not any part to do with any organization at this point. But when I have widows that are continuously coming to me, wives that are coming to me, officers that are coming to me and saying, hey, it's almost a Me Too movement against Karen and Blue Help. It's not just Karen any longer. It's Blue Help as well. When I shared that video last week, or the week before, there was an individual, a widow. Her name's Michelle Methy, and I'm going to read you what she wrote. I have disabled the commenting ability on YouTube, not because I'm afraid of what people are going to say, but because I don't need the ugliness. If you want to email me and you have something that you want me to hear or think I need to hear, email me at ourbluehell@gmail.com. Ourbluehell. It'll be in the description. Michelle said on my video, your personal vendetta against someone is despicable. You should look at your own actions. Perhaps this is why you're continuing to play victim. You cry to whoever will listen under the umbrella, poor me, I'm a widow. Shame on those who listen to your rantings. Shame on you for trying to destroy another human being. You claim your character is being attacked when you are the attacker. Social media is not the place to air your personal problems. So classless. She's a widow. Michelle, you're a widow. And you put that, it's pretty classless. Another individual by the name or alias of Booker Daniel. This dude can't even go on there with his name. I mean, okay. Granted, my name isn't Heidi on this channel, but I say what my name is. As an LE suicide survivor, this video is exactly what we don't need to stop the stigma and break down what comes from asking for help. You honor your husband by changing your name? You are a disgrace to law enforcement and men and women who have taken their lives because of the job. You need to take this personal vendetta with Karen and get it off social media. You are hurting the cause. What's the cause? How am I hurting it? How am I hurting it? All I'm asking is that Karen step down. Karen offer a public apology to the families she's hurt. She has, in a sense, apologized to me. I have that email. I have whatever emails you guys want. Everything. Nobody's asked for a damn thing yet. Nothing. Karen hasn't even publicly denied any of this. She says one of my frustrations is the misappropriation of funds. She says there isn't any misappropriation of funds. She and I both know that's not accurate, and that I have the emails, her tax returns, and all that to substantiate this. But here she is trying to cover that up. I don't want anything other than these families who are going through pure hell to be protected. If you're law enforcement and you're listening to this and you're thinking, why does she care? I care for the same reason that you care about your law enforcement brothers and sisters. I have hope that the thin blue line is going to be the thin blue line, and that we are going to support one another in life and afterlife, and make sure that we have a foundation built and that is strong enough to feel confident that when the shit hits the fan, and God forbid we're gone, whether by our own actions or involuntarily, that our departments come together and support one another, and we're able to weed out the individuals like Karen Solomon. In law enforcement, we question everything. We do background searches, psychological evaluations. We do everything to vet the authenticity and the capabilities of the officers we hire in the departments. And why aren't we doing that with Karen Solomon? If you support her, good. Okay. But look into her. Do yourself a favor. Look into it. Email me. Ask me what I have. I'll show you. If me wanting to protect families and other women that have gone through this, other wives that are still alive, whose spouses are still alive that are going through hell right now mentally, if that's a personal vendetta, then okay, I have a personal vendetta. I don't really think that's what the definition of personal vendetta is, but we'll run with it. All I want is for these families to be protected. Ask yourself, what does she have to gain? Ask yourself that. Thank you.